Well. Hello, everybody. Fine folks out there. Hope you're all doing well. It's Mike, J. Chris Newberg in the house. Garrett is sitting there. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
How are you, Chris?
Party rocking in the house tonight.
There you go. All right, good.
Really
Garrett,
am.
how are you?
I'm all right.
Yeah. How was your weekend? Anything exciting happen to either of you?
Over the weekend?
Yeah. It's a Monday.
I was very excited to have 2 days off. I've been working for 13 straight weeks, and to have 2 days off to where I didn't have to come up with jokes was magnificent.
That has to be an awful feeling. I've thought about that ever since you said that, where I've got to write 180 jokes in 12 hours. And I'm just like, they can't even be good. By the time you get to 100, like the last 80 have to just be shit.
You know, there's that. You're not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems, I'm kind of a quality over quantity guy. And it just seems like, I don't know who's winning in that. Maybe they want to have all options open, all directions covered, no matter where something goes. I'm assuming that's the thought behind that.
Right. Yeah.
Is that kind of what it is?
I guess. I mean, it's just there's so many egos, and there's so many, not ego is the wrong word. There's so many different opinions of what is funny.
Yeah.
And there's just like, on Friday I worked with Mira Sorvino, like an Academy Award winner, Mira Sorvino.
Yeah, she was great in American Beauty, right?
Amazing.
Is that what she won for? Yeah, she was awesome.
Yep. And I worked with Shaka Khan, Dionne Warwick, Whitney Cummings, Pete Holmes, and Debbie Mazar. And it's like all of them thought different things were funny.
Yeah. And, that's got to be so hard to deal with.
It is. It is. Is this a Patreon show, or is this are people going to say stuff?
Yeah, we're live. I don't have that pulled up. Yeah. But if something comes in, or if someone does a super chat, Garrett will point it out.
I'm excited. I just get excited. I'm excited to be back. I missed y'all.
Yeah, we missed you, buddy.
I'm sorry I was away, but I'm back.
No, all I care about is you were honest with me in the beginning. You told me, hey, dude, until August 23rd, I think you said, it's going to be sketch. It's going to be hit or miss. It's going to be my availability. And then when you were like, hey, dude, I'm not going to be able to do shit for the next 10 days. It was like, yeah, great. Cool.
No problem. Unlike other people who just didn't do that.
Yeah. It happens. It's fine.
Sure.
It's all good. Yeah, it's really weird. I think we are programmed as humans. Like we seek out what we like. We seek out people that agree with us. We seek out situations that make us comfortable, and so that can be groups of people. It's, people you went to high school with, and that kind of thing is normal. And when you do the type of work you do, whether it's on the road as a comic or doing a talk show and doing a bar event and hundreds of people show up and you meet different people, you really get out of thinking, like, it becomes clear, Chris, I think you would agree with me that there's so many different people with different perspectives, what they find funny. And the more you do this, the more that becomes obvious.
Yeah.
That there is yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, we had to take this whole, the word's not diversity and the word's not inclusion, but it was something along those lines of, we had for the show that we did in Canada, and it was talking about how it was taught by this doctorate graduate from Princeton University. She was talking about how people immediately gravitate towards people who look like us, who we think will have our same opinions and everything. And it was really funny because she wasn't wrong. Like everybody, and you looked around the room and everyone was kind of sitting in a room next to people who kind of looked like them and kind of like had similar cliques. And it was funny.
It's a comfort thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're probably right. I'm sure that's the case.
Yeah. Well, it became glaringly obvious to me. Like when I was doing the Drew and Mike show, for instance, we did tons of remotes.
Yeah.
But I wasn't a focus of those. I was just kind of I was there with the team, and some people would want to talk to you, but the vast majority of people wanted to talk to Drew or Mike, and Mark and I would just kind of mingle about, and and so you didn't really get that full perspective of differing people. But when I started to do remotes in Metro Detroit, and loads of people would show up, women, men, different races, different ethnic backgrounds, like you really get a different, because at that point it was my show, and so they wanted to talk to me like they did with Drew at the Drew and Mike show, and so I'd end up talking to everybody, and it was like it became obvious, like what some people found funny, what some people found offensive, what some people found that pissed them off. Like it was radically different in a room full of people that all listened to the show, but all had different thoughts. And I gave up trying to figure out years ago. Like there were things when I'd be like, oh my God, when people hear this interview or this call, they're going to fucking lose their shit. And then it was like crickets. And then I'd do something that I almost deleted. I was like, this is just stupid. This is kind of a throwaway conversation. It's like, yeah, what the hell? We'll just throw it out. And huge response. And you're like, I have no idea what people like and what they don't anymore. I have fucking no clue.
Well, it just goes to show how egocentric most of us are. Like we think that, like, based on the fact that people continuously scream comedy is subjective, entertainment is subjective, things are completely different. We're like, well, we don't think it's funny, so there's no way anyone else could.
Right.
And that's ridiculous.
Right.
I mean, it's the same thing with comedy. I can't tell you how many shows I've had where, like, you'll kill on the first show, you'll stand by your merch booth afterwards, and it'll be like, no one will talk to you or look at you. And then you're like, I don't even want to go outside. I'm so fucking humiliated. And you'll have people buying tons of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a wild realization when you finally realize that. And I came to the realization that if people know who you are nationally, I don't give a shit what genre, they're fucking extremely talented. And I don't care if that's Justin Bieber or like, just because I'm not a Justin Bieber fan musically doesn't mean that kid's not incredibly fucking talented.
So talented.
Like incredibly talented. And it was like, yeah, just because I might be into this genre or this thing, like U2's not my bag. They're just not. There's a handful of bands that it's sacrilegious to say you don't love them. There's a
Nickelback.
Oh my
Imagine
God.
Dragons.
Yes, there you go. Great examples.
Limp Bizkit. Radiohead.
Yeah. But then you go, you know what? Like if you understood, like we get to see the end product as the consumer, as the fan. And it's like when you see documentaries of these kids like in boy bands, and it's like they're slaving it too in fucking malls with screaming girls and working through the night trying to get, and it's like, yeah, they're extremely driven and talented. Might not be your bag. There's comics. I like never been a huge fan of Theo Von's comedy. I was never a fan of Mitch Hedberg. Never a fan of Mitch Hedberg. But like I totally respect what they do. It's just not my thing. You know what I mean?
Mitch Hedberg is brilliant.
Yeah, I already talked shit before the show.
It's like Hedberg? Saying you're not it's like, no. I get
in defense of Hedberg.
Yeah. It's like saying you're not a fan of U2. And people go, what are you, nuts? That's one of the most influential and bands of all time. It's like, yeah, it's not I don't doubt their talent. It's just not the album I'm going to go buy. That's all. And that's how I felt about Mitch Hedberg. And Fellhauer and I used to fight because he was the biggest Mitch Hedberg fan. It just wasn't my style, but I think we'd all be better off if we understood that on a grander level, that we're not all going to disagree. We're not all going to agree on like what's funny, what's entertaining.
I think we can all agree on the following two statements. Are you ready?
I am.
These are two missed opportunities here. Two missed opportunities that I think I just don't understand why they have not been taken. Why doesn't Trump have a zine called MAGA? Because then it would be a fucking magazine.
I like it. You didn't even have to say the last part. We could have figured that out.
Some people couldn't have. Some people couldn't have.
Do you think by saying fanzine and MAGA, we weren't able to put together magazine? Like,
second thing.
all you'd have to do is capitalize MAGA and then lowercase zine.
And make it just throw a fucking, yeah.
Should it be like Oprah's magazine where she's on the cover every month?
Well, hers is like, oh, you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
like,
But she was the cover every month of Oprah magazine.
You can do it like the
Always.
Times.
So like, what's that, Garrett?
I was thinking of it like the Times, just the MAGA and the big red and then zine next to it, smaller,
Yeah,
and then
it'd be
Trump on the
fucking-
cover, man of the year every year.
he's so big. Second of all, why doesn't Guitar Center have Santa as a mascot? Guitar Santa.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I don't understand it.
Well, have you suggested it to them? Maybe they've just never thought of it.
No, I told you they don't like me at all. They kicked me out of an audition once. I told you that.
Why? No, I don't remember that. But I don't remember much of anything. My memory is absolutely shot. So
this is like probably 15 years ago, maybe 10, a long time ago when I still went
you
on
had flowing locks and no beard. You looked like a respectable member of society, not the Unabomber at the time.
I looked like Potsy. You know what I mean? Like I was Potsy, swollen face, dark hair. And I was at an audition for Guitar Center. And this is when Twitter was kind of popular. And there's all these dudes playing guitar in the hallway for this commercial. And I'm in the hallway too. So I tweet, the only thing more insufferable than being a Guitar Center employee is auditioning to be a Guitar Center employee in a commercial. I eventually get called into the room and they go, cool. I do my audition and they go, great. We want you to read this copy. It's new copy. And they handed me my tweet and I was like, I just started laughing. I was like, all right.
They've got a sense of humor. That's pretty good. That's actually pretty good.
Oh, they got me. I mean, I obviously didn't book it, but yeah. So Guitar Santa, I give him Guitar Santa. We're friends again. Everything's cool.
Well, it sounds like you're cool being friends. I don't think they've gotten over it.
No,
and what did you expect was going to happen when you tweeted that?
Let's see.
Because I'm on Team Guitar Center at this point. I don't think
they weren't wrong. They were not wrong.
They weren't wrong in that instance.
They were not wrong. They were completely right. I was a fucking cocky idiot, and I should have never fucking done that. It was so stupid.
Yeah. Do you think you would have booked it? Do you think you would have booked the commercial? Do you remember what the commercial was?
No, I just remember walking out going, I'm such an idiot. But I still to this day laugh about it.
Yeah, dude, you got a great story out of it. What does it matter?
It's a great story.
That's probably better than booking the commercial that no one would remember 15 years later.
100%.
You know what I mean?
There's a question. Can I answer the question?
Yeah.
Yeah, super chat. Go for it. I was about to read it.
Okay, read it, Garrett. I don't want to break.
All right.
I don't want to break
J.
protocol.
Chris Newberg. Thoughts on Stuttering John's comedic ability?
I think he was a different kind of comedian than I appreciate, but I recognize his genius. He had a fearlessness to him. He had incredible timing. He would say anything. Like
You're talking about the more so the Stern years where he would go and do the press conferences and whatnot.
Yeah, he was.
He's got an infamy in podcasting right now.
Okay, so does he have his own podcast now? Is he killing it? Or?
Yeah,
no,
we don't need to get in the backstory.
It's a rabbit
sorted and long. He's an idiot. This is from
John Skippy Halloween Hand.
Okay, I'm not speaking about his podcast. I didn't know he had one. Yeah. I just meant back in the day when Stern show.
Just his comedy ability.
He's brave. I mean, he was definitely brave. More so than I would be. He would say things that I could never, ever pull off, and it worked for him. It absolutely worked for him. It's like his stuttering actually worked for him.
Yeah,
in comedy,
making the best of a situation.
If it's real.
He was good. He was talented at what he did, and that's my answer. He was funny.
Yeah. And again, subjective anyways. If people found it funny, then it worked.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's just like the answer to your question is someone is sitting around, someone on a different podcast is asking a question about him. He's probably not asking questions about us. So
exactly
proving your point, he's a successful cat.
Yeah. I don't know how successful he is, but he had his run with the Stern show.
He's not on Stern anymore?
No.
Okay, yeah.
It's a rabbit hole I'll let you guys get into off the show.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's a rabbit hole I'm not interested in going down, but I'm aware of it. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, no, it's not a thing. It's just too fucking sordid to explain in a us doing a podcast, and I don't feel like promoting him anyways. So I just don't care about the inner shit behind. Like, it's just not my bag. Same reason I don't want to talk about the fucking Bachelor.
Yeah, we got $2 more from John Skip Your Halloween Hand. Sorry, Webster. I know you want no part of the Dabbleverse.
Yeah, I don't give a shit what people are like. Good for them. Do your thing, man.
What's the Dabbleverse?
Exactly.
It's the rabbit hole that I'm talking about.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's infighting between podcasters.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Silliness.
That is silliness.
It's fun.
Yeah. Some of it's fun. And there are aspects I can even get into and laugh at. Drew and I have laughed at some of it together. Drew's involved. I just don't.
I've noticed Drew seems to be obsessed with, and I don't know if this is cool talking about it, but
Sure.
I'm curious if you have an opinion. Corey Feldman, like,
yeah.
I didn't get a chance to see any of his music, like, or hear it, but I mean, he's obviously got a band. He's on tour right now, and are people just making fun of him?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did I tell you I was at his house?
Corey Feldman's?
Yeah.
No.
So back in the day, like when I was hanging out with Dane was buddies with Corey, and he invited me over to Corey's house in Encino. Corey's had this gigantic fucking house in Encino. I don't know if he was living it or renting it, but this was right around the time that he had Corey's Angels, and it was like he had a harem of women living in his apartment or living in his house. Really attractive younger women, always walking around in lingerie, whatever. And he would have these extensive parties where he'd charge people $100 to $1,000 to enter the party so they could talk to these women, etc. So we're there, we're in the living room, and in the living room he has in a frame Michael Jackson's sequined glove with a handwritten letter from Michael, something like, thanks for being my friend or whatever. And I was like, is that the glove? And he's like, yeah, that's the glove. He's like, if I ever get a meth problem, I want to sell it. He's like, I probably make a bunch of money. And he just said it so matter of fact, like, It was crazy. But funny story. So I end up meeting a woman at this party, and she ends up coming back to my place. And she came to a comedy show of mine the next day. So she comes back to my place, and this was at my first apartment when I lived in Studio City. And I fooled around with this girl, and after we fooled around, a few minutes later, her phone rings, and she's like, "Hello? No, I'm sorry. Okay. What's your address?" And I'm like, "What?"
No.
And she's like, "What is your address?"
No.
And I was like, 12843 Landale Y. She goes, "Corey's upset. He's sending a driver to come get me." And I was like, Corey's upset? He's sending a driver.
Oh, my God.
So he literally sent a driver to come pick this woman up.
Oh, my God.
That's awesome.
Was she an angel?
She was very pretty. She ended up, I think she's dead now. She ended up dating one of the guys from, what's the fishing show, Deadliest Catch? She ended up dating one of those guys, and I think they drug overdosed or something.
Oh, shit.
I'm not laughing at her.
Hilarious.
I'm laughing because I'm nervous because I was remembering it.
The Corey thing starts there, in my opinion. Like, there's all the allegations, like the goofy imitation of Michael Jackson that he's still doing today, really badly. But that NBC, what is there? Is it the Today Show? Is that NBC's morning news?
Yeah, NBC is today. The Today Show.
Him bringing the Angels on the Today Show 15 years ago was like when he became the ultimate joke among most people. Like, that appearance, you can pull up video of it and watch it. There's nothing artistic or talented about it. It's just like, holy fuck, this is hilarious. The train wreck was so funny. I'm trying to think of other things you'd compare it to. And you figured that was the end of him, and now it's like, oh no, the whole country's in on the joke, and
he's trying to be in on it now too.
I mean, that poor kid. Like, he was so fucked up. He was so fucked up as a kid. Yeah, and like to see his friend get raped, and like, did you watch? There's a documentary. It's on YouTube, and it's about all these young guys who used to prey on these child actors in Hollywood. Yeah. And it's the dude one of the guys who he's like some Bitcoin millionaire, multi-billionaire named Mark something. And it just would talk about how the Coreys would go to these parties and like dudes
Yeah.
would just pound them.
Didn't he say that it was Charlie Sheen, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen did. Yeah, he sodomized Corey.
Sodomized Corey Haim.
Yeah.
Not Corey Feldman, but Corey Haim. And I think it was behind a trailer on a set, and he walked back on that. Yeah, there's no doubt. It doesn't surprise me at all that shit was going on. You know, the Nickelodeon documentary, and hearing some of those kids, like it's, you know, it doesn't shock me. I think the country at large didn't want to hear that shit for the longest time. They didn't want to believe it was even possible.
Right.
But you know, Corey has unfortunately teased for so long, like outing this thing and this cabal of child sex predators behind the scenes. And then, you know, he's going to do it behind a paywall and like, it's like at some point, you know, it almost becomes like a grift instead of like, okay, this is a serious thing you're talking about. And if this is really going on, that would shock the conscience of the nation. And if you outed people, real names, real people, I mean, you know, you could turn a lot of people into Harvey Weinstein with the truth. But it seems like, no, it's always just kind of a tease. And I just kind of bailed on it after a while. But that doesn't mean I don't think that there's a lot of truth to what he has alluded to over the years. You know,
Right.
I don't know enough about it. I just know a lot of the people and the behaviors behind those people and that are a part of that Hollywood scene. I know you got to be careful here, Chris. I don't mean to rain on your shit at all.
No. I'm sending Garrett a picture right now that he can post. This is a true story. This space still exists on the CBS lot.
Okay. What is it?
You'll see it. It's literally, it's still there, and I don't know how to. Can you show pictures on this?
Well,
give me 1 second.
You could. I do this a lot of times. I hold up
I'll do it professionally in 1 second.
Yeah. Take advantage of Garrett, dude. We got to fucking Garrett.
Yeah.
Make it spiffy. Also, you know what else I was thinking today? This is unrelated to what we're talking about, but kind of related to it. If you get mono from two people, do you have stereo?
Yeah.
Like, that's a thing,
known
right?
fact.
That's science.
Yeah.
It's got to.
When did you write that?
What? Just now.
It's pretty good,
dude. The way your brain works, it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Thank you. The joke I wrote this morning was, the Bible says, "Be fruitful and multiply," and Nick Cannon was like, "Hold my beer."
All right, Garrett, do you have it yet?
Yep, send it right over. Pulling it
So
up.
I'm walking on the CBS lot, and I'm looking at all the personalized parking spaces and all the like people who have their own parking space at CBS Television City.
Do you have one of those?
No, are you kidding? And I walk by this dude, this space. Anyway.
Oh, Garrett,
you really just threw me right on the spot. It's right here.
He still has it there.
You don't think anyone would go out there with a fucking can of white spray paint and just fix that?
Nope, because they didn't.
Wow.
He's he's next to Dustin Hoffman.
How good was his spot?
Pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
That's still pretty good.
H. Weinstein. Yeah. Did you say anything to anyone? Like, hey, what's up with this?
No, I was.
You should go
laughing.
You should go stencil your name over it. Just cross it off with a Sharpie and write your name there, and then just start parking there.
I don't know. Well, he's still like the thing about.
What are they going to do? Bitch at you for stealing Harvey Weinstein's fucking parking spot?
He still makes so much money. Like the what's his company? Miramax, is that his company?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. During the pandemic, 99% of all of Paramount's library was Miramax stuff. Like he supplied Paramount Plus with all this shit.
Yeah, dude,
it's crazy. He makes tons of money.
That catalog for a 10, 20-year run is up there with anything at any time in cinema. Like it's that strong, you know, whether he just financed it, him and his brother or whatever. Like I don't know how that works, Chris. Maybe you can enlighten us, but what that really means to be the production house behind that. Are you picking the scripts? Are you putting together anything? Or is it just strictly financing? Like,
Well,
because they had hit after hit after hit. Go ahead.
No, he was the king. Like, it
Yeah.
was like he would be in charge of raising the money, buying the scripts, being final say, making all the decisions. He's paying for it. He's the executive producer. So
Yeah.
when you see very first, like during the credits in a movie, the very first executive producer credit is the person who pays for it.
Oh, okay.
And so
yeah, I know. But a lot of those are just in name only. When you see a lot of executive producer or producer tags, it's just kind of like, yeah.
Not
like
the first one. The first
not the
one
first one. No.
First one's always who pays for it.
Look, I have a very unpopular opinion about Harvey Weinstein. I understand that, but I would have blown Harvey Weinstein for a prominent role in Pulp Fiction.
Same.
Like, I'm not saying what he did was right by any stretch, but I think I would have sucked a dick to be in one of those movies.
I mean, I don't think you're alone. I think probably a bunch of other people would have made that decision, and I'm sure a lot of people did make that decision.
Yeah. Oh, they did.
I mean, how do you think How do you think Travolta got in? Am I right?
I know, right? Yeah. It's the weird part about, people that work their whole lives to attain something that seems so unattainable. Like, at that point, what are you willing to do to get a life-changing event to spark something in your life because you can't behave that way with an established star, right? You can't take someone that's, 2 Oscars into a career or even nominations or a track record of hits and then go, oh yeah, suck my dick for a role. Like that doesn't work.
I bet it still was brought up.
Maybe I would think that they would not, that's something you do on the way up or the way down. And that's just kind of the reality of a lot of those businesses, unfortunately, when you have people so desperate to be included in that world. And it's not something you can just go to school for and it guarantees that you're going to get a job. Like if you go to school and become a doctor, odds are you're going to be a doctor. Like you can take all the acting classes you want. You can do all the open mics you want. It does not in any way mean that you're ever going to get that legit shot to be, to fulfill your dream. So it doesn't surprise me that that's taken advantage of, that position.
Well, it's so cool now because it's just no longer the case. I mean, you deal with the fact that now people can be just as famous, if not more so, than anyone by just having a viral video on their phone. You can get record deals if you've got a sound or something that goes viral or pops. Like what was that? There was that. Sorry, my ride's here. There's that. It was a song. It was a loop. It was like a woman speaking, and she's like 6'4", blue eyes, trust fund, and it was just on a loop, and it became one of the most popular downloaded songs on TikTok or whatever. And that woman got a fucking record deal.
Yeah,
and it's like, are you fucking kidding? But it's not surprising, and I mean, it's like, and so many people are like, dude,
but what do you do with that? What do you do with that person? There's no way they're gonna have a fucking hit. Like, you
don't know that Beck. I mean, like Beck got signed in a weird way. He's done okay. It's like it doesn't matter how you get in the door. That's no one cares how you get there. It's whether or not you have the staying power.
Yeah, but 6'4" Blue Eyes Trust Fund, 6'4" Blue Eyes Trust Fund, like. You could see the talent in some of those people, like even Gangnam Style. You're like, oh, okay, like not my bag, but okay, and it's racked up whatever. But I don't know where you go with and the talent you're seeing behind 6'4" fucking Blue Eye. I mean, is she smoking hot?
I don't know, but it's catchy as hell. I heard it once and I remember it. And
really,
I think what you're dealing with are industry plans, which are basically something like that goes viral. She gets a record deal and they make her into a pop star by basically selling her songs that other people have written. If Taylor Swift won't buy this song, let's just give it to this new chick we're trying to promote and then try and make her a pop star to make money. That's how a lot of it works.
Yeah,
could be.
I wouldn't be surprised. And I don't know.
Because if that pop star ends up taking off like a Taylor Swift, that's a lot of money for your record label.
Yeah, and everybody else who doesn't is a tax write-off.
Exactly.
Yeah. Crazy. It's crazy industry. Yeah. I don't think we have half a clue as the real, business model behind the entertainment industry. I think you're kidding yourself.
I have no clue.
Well, you have more of a clue than most. you know?
Yeah, I mean, more, yeah. No, I never understand. It's like everything is such a big machine, and you never know. It's just,
Yeah.
it's interesting. I will tell you that I'm very excited for one thing that happened on the show, and then I'll shut about the show. Then we can go back to
You're talking about Hollywood Squares. No, you should be proud. Promote it. And you've got a gig coming up in Michigan we should promote as well.
October 11th, Wildwood Amphitheater in Lake Orion. It's my first amphitheater.
Nice.
There'll either be 30 people there or 3,000. It'll be one of the two.
Okay.
I'll be there regardless. I'm getting paid the same. It doesn't matter. If you want to be cold on an October evening, you don't have kids playing football.
Dude, October evenings in Michigan are fucking amazing.
All right, then fucking come there.
That's
October
awesome.
11th. Yeah.
October 11th. Okay.
Okay, we'll talk about it more. But
yeah.
So I write this joke for Hollywood Squares, and it was the coolest thing that happened. It was my highlight in comedy of my whole career. Coolest thing ever. Cooler than the Tonight Show. What I did that Stuttering John was not the host or the announcer. I don't even know what that fucking means. But anyways, cooler than that. I write this question, and the question is, because when you write a game show question, it's got to be kind of dick jokey and kind of tongue in cheek and wordplay. It's perfect for my brain. So the joke was, what province of Canada would you find Dildo Island? Okay. And the answer is Newfoundland. So then right after you write it, you have to do a joke, like a joke for the celeb to say. Margaret Cho gets that question. So
Margaret Cho?
Cho? Comedian?
The comic?
Yeah. So what province is Dildo Island? Margaret Cho goes, oh, I've heard of that. There's a real buzz about it, which is a joke that I gave her for Dildo Island. Then this other celeb jumps on and was like, oh yeah, the motto is you can come with your friends. And then another fucking celeb started tagging it. And then 2 minutes later, Kevin Nealon fucking tagged it again. So it was like the runner throughout the whole show. Everybody was talking about this. And I was just like.
You sparked it.
I did the question, the joke. And then I just sat back and watched these brilliantly talented people run.
Is that a real question?
Yeah, it's a real question.
What is the question again? Because it sounded almost fake.
No, hold on. I'll never read it.
And there he goes, just like that. October 11th, everybody, in Lake Orion. We're living as a vacation. Garrett, are you going to go to that show?
I might try. Let's see what's up.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my Hollywood Squares question card.
Okay.
Oh boy.
And then if you can read it.
It's backwards, but yeah. In which Canadian province would you find Dildo Island? So Dildo Island's a real place.
Yeah. It's in Newfoundland. So Newfoundland, it's way east.
Is it Newfoundland or Newfoundland?
I mean, when I was there, it was Newfoundland.
Okay.
But I don't know.
It seems like the laziest name for a fucking...
A lot of them were.
Iceland, Greenland, Newfoundland. They sound like the laziest. Who was naming these things?
Someone with
3-year-old.
Well, I mean,
actually, a 3-year-old was naming these places.
There was thought behind Greenland and Iceland is they wanted people to not know that Iceland was as nice as it was, so they kept calling it Iceland, and then they named the icy place Greenland, so people would go there instead and leave them alone.
That's smart.
Okay, so it's a theory like Seattle.
Yeah.
Sort of. We don't tell people about the weather, or we tell people that the weather is always cloudy and rainy, so they leave us alone here.
Is that true?
It's some bullshit like that I've heard. Yeah, but it is cloudy and rainy. So,
all right.
Yeah. I was just promoting your show again, by the way. October 11th.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
In Lake Orion.
Yep.
Yeah, I was telling Garrett he should go.
Garrett, come on, man.
I will. I wasn't bailing. I said I'll try and make it out.
I'll try and make it out.
Yeah,
I wish I could have made it.
Yeah. I'd give anything. I wish I could make it there. I hate when people do that.
You've got 6 weeks from now, dude. You've got nothing. You have nothing going on October 11th.
Unless he could pull out a calendar right now and go, look, dude, October 11th is full to the brim.
It's my cousin's birthday.
I can't make
wants
it.
To go. Give him.
Yeah, take your cousin. Perfect birthday gift. There you go.
Kind of looks like J. Chris, actually. It might be a good one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when you guys go to Orion Events or whatever the website is, it's on my Facebook page. The discount code is Newberg20, and I think it gets you 20% off tickets.
All right.
Let's talk about January 6th.
January 6th, the Fedsurrection. I love it.
All right. What are we talking about? I'm ready for topics.
I saw that RFK came out the other day, Friday, I guess, and stood alongside Donald Trump. He is going to join that team. It's rather disturbing when you hear just how bad that dude was run out of the way from the Democrat Party. Cheryl Hines, beloved Cheryl Hines from Curb Your Enthusiasm, is taking some shit.
Why?
Because her husband is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and he's now supporting Donald Trump. And he didn't drop out of the race. I know it sounds like that's what he did, but he suspended his campaign in battleground states.
What does that mean?
It means that I don't want to be a spoiler and on the ballot if you're in these battleground states where it matters, but I'll still be on the ballot in other places, no matter how much the Democrat Party tried to keep him off the ballots. And I have video from his running mate. We can play in a second, but yeah, Cheryl Hines is under attack now. She made a statement after her husband joined Trump on stage in Arizona. The decision has been made to suspend my husband's presidency. I'd like to extend a sincere, deeply heartfelt thank you to every person who has worked tirelessly and lovingly on his campaign. They have accomplished feats that were said to be impossible. They have gathered over 1 million signatures, more than any candidate in history. That's true, by the way. And achieved ballot access across the country despite the roadblocks and lawsuits that have been brought against them for the sole purpose of keeping Bobby off the ballots so no one would ever have the opportunity to vote for him. I wish you would have said where that was coming from, because that's exclusively on one side of the aisle. That is an exclusive attack on Robert F. Kennedy Jr. She's kind of being soft there, being like, oh, there were people involved in keeping him off the ballot. No, one team went to these great fucking lengths, and one team only. I deeply respect the decision Bobby made to run on the principle of unity over the last year and a half. I've met some extraordinary people from all parties, Democrats, Republicans, independents. It's been my experience that the vast majority of all parties are truly good people who want the best for our country and for each other. It's been an eye-opening, transformative, and endearing journey. RFK himself responded, I'm so grateful to my amazing wife, Cheryl, for her unconditional love, as I have made a political decision with which she is very uncomfortable. I bet she is. You know, she still wants to work in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And having your name associated with Donald Trump is counter to that historically. That doesn't go well for people. Let's see. Columnist Norman Ornstein responded to Cheryl Hines. Now, if you have even a shred of integrity, you will endorse Kamala Harris. Otherwise, you are signing on as a member of the Trump cult. Spoken like an actual cult member. You don't believe what I believe or die forever. What? I just don't understand these people. Another responded, you never had a chance, and this was always the goal. You suck. Can't even enjoy the episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm with you in them anymore.
Two things. One, I like that you're giving a different character to each of the comments that you're reading. I like that. That's very good, because it's like I can see them. It's colorful, and I appreciate that. So please continue to do that.
It's the hatred behind their comments. I mean, maybe she said, you never had a chance, and this was always the goal. You suck. I can't even enjoy episodes of Curb with you in them anymore. But that's not what I hear in me. I hear, agree with me politically or fucking die. That's what I hear.
Yeah, and maybe a lot of people think that.
Yeah.
I got a comment on I think it's the last comment on my YouTube, on my special.
Yeah.
And someone wrote, I really love this special. I'll give it a voice, just like you did. I really like the special, but the last joke about the president, uncalled for. I simply can no longer appreciate the rest of the special. So wait a second. Hold on. You were in it. You were in it for 35 minutes.
Yeah.
One thing canceled that 35 minutes.
Minute 36.
Too far, man.
Minute 36. Dude,
I've
told the story so many times, Chris, and people that are longtime listeners, I apologize in advance, but I'll never forget, of all the fucking millions of people that responded to conversations, interviews, comedy bits over the years at the Drew and Mike show. You can imagine how many people wrote us, commented, all the fucking that called. One guy is like, I've been a supporter my entire life. And it goes on and on about how much he loves the Drew and Mike show. But today you crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. And it was the fucking bit during the time when there were all kinds of riots at Michigan State and people were burning couches when their team lost a game or won a game,
right, yeah.
whatever. And so it became kind of a national joke, you know, couch burning university, whatever it was. And Drew had written a bit about getting into Michigan State. And it was like, he's just kind of taking shots at stupid people with stupid behavior, outrageous behavior. It was funny as fuck. It's one of the funniest sketches Drew has ever written. He's a brilliant comedy writer. Mm-hmm. And it's a 3-minute fucking promo bit, whatever. And this crossed a line. This attack on Michigan's, I will never listen. You're like, of all the shit we've done, the offensive nature of so much shit we've done at the expense of other people in comedy, this crossed a line that cannot be uncrossed. You're like, fuck, man. I don't know. I don't understand it at all from people, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Robert F. Kennedy Jr., for his part, you know, I know him as an environmental lawyer. I believe that he believes what he's saying. He is often shit on for his take on vaccines, that he thinks that there's a corrupt, pharmaceutical industry and blah, blah, blah. I don't know enough about him. I haven't researched enough to have like real strong opinions on RFK, but I believe he believes it. And that's all I can ask people. I don't have to agree with everything they believe. And COVID opened a lot of eyes to what, unquestioned power can do to a society. And, it makes me, when they were so full of shit with COVID vaccines, like being perfect for everybody. And if you don't take it, you hate your neighbor and you want to kill the vaccinated, like that whole push and narrative didn't make me think people that didn't want to take an experimental vaccine were awful people. It made me automatically question, like, well, if you're willing to go that fucking far on that, what else are you full of shit about? It had an absolute counter effect on me.
Did you take the vaccine?
I did, and
Which
I regret
one?
it. I took
Which
the
one?
very first one. I cheated the line. I had contacts, and so I was one of the entitled few that was like first in line. And I was against it, but everybody in my fucking family was so for it, and they were worried about my health conditions at the time.
Did
and it was
you
like,
ever
oh,
get COVID?
No, I've never had it.
Okay. And Garrett, did you get the stab?
Yep.
And did you ever get COVID?
Yes. Very bad.
Okay. And
Yeah, I hear this new one's bad.
I got the stab. I got 2 of them and the booster. And I've never had it. Michelle got it, and she's had it like 8 times.
Yeah.
Like she's had it so many
seemed
times.
Like, dude, there was a run for like 2 years where it seemed like every time that girl went out for the night, she came back with COVID.
Yeah.
Like just talking to you and her off air, just on the phone and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, Michelle's got COVID again. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, she got it. She's got a bunch. And like, even when she had it, I never got it.
Yeah. No, and you know what? In fairness, there was like Omicron. There were some that were going around that it was like you could have it and not have any symptoms at all, and not. So it's possible. I had it at some point. Maybe I had a little stuffy nose and didn't think much of it, and went on. It's just that the push from a government body I'll never agree with. Especially in this country. With you can't go to work if you don't get it. Shutter your business, like all that bullshit. And it rang so hollow too with the whole, we hear so much about my body, my choice. And then it was like, oh yeah, when it's convenient, my body, my choice. When it's a political slogan, that counts. But when it's truly my body, my choice, no, you wanted to force people to get an experimental vaccine. And by definition, a vaccine cures something. And that's not what this did. And they weren't honest about that. And I've done so much reporting on this topic over the years that I feel comfortable in saying what I'm saying. And You never needed to shut down a fucking school. That the kids were never at serious risk of anything. And, so my point going back to RFK is I don't know. I know the media spin is going to be, oh yeah, he's batshit crazy on everything. And it's like, yeah, maybe I would have fallen for that had I not seen the way you've behaved over the last 10 years.
I saw, I mean, he's entertaining to me. For starters, I mean, having to like survived whatever sort of weird thing that happened to his brain, causing him to speak like that.
Yeah.
And parasitic something that whatever.
Yeah.
I saw him. The thing that I was really impressed with him about was when they brought him to Congress, and Congress was ready to fucking get their pound of flesh, and he just talked, and it was literally when he was done, he was just like, "That's all I have to say about that," and I'm leaving, and he just fucking left, and he was so well spoken.
Yeah, I mean, he is very well spoken.
So smart.
It's distracting because of the voice,
Yep.
That's not a deal breaker at all, but it's hard. I listened to, I don't know, what did he do? 3 hours with Rogan, and it's tough. It's tough to listen to that kind of Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah, it
voice.
is Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah, it's distracting. You get used to it after a short amount of time, but it's hard to get through, and that's not fair to him. It is what it is, but
absolutely. But I think it's funny. Like, didn't he and I say this with as much knowledge of, as I'm certain JD Vance nailed Art Van or whatever. But
yeah.
Didn't he do something weird with a fucking black bear carcass?
Yeah. Yep. And that story doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Well, so the story is he was telling Roseanne on her podcast.
Okay.
Or they were being filmed at her house or something. And it was kind of he was laughing about it. The story seems weird on its face, to be honest with you. He had seen someone hit a bear cub in New York with their car.
Like backhand?
No. Not backhand, like, shut up, bear cub.
Right.
No, like, I've had enough of your guff, bear cub. Not like that. But hit with a car and killed. And he was like, oh, well, I'll take this bear and I'll skin it at home. And he threw it in his car. And then he realized he was late for a dinner in upstate New York. And so we went to the dinner before realizing, oh shit, I still have that bear in my car. And he also said, along with a bike someone gave me to discard. And it was like, why would someone give you a bike to discard for them? So all of a sudden the story is kind of weird. And so he ends up going, oh shit, I still have that bike in my trunk. Oh, and that bear. And so he went into Central Park, set the bear down on like a trail, and then laid the bike next to it, as the joke would be, someone hit this bear with their bike and killed it. Ha ha.
It's stupid.
So he picked up the carcass of a bear.
I'm not mad at that part.
But the bear is probably like 300 fucking pounds.
It was a cub.
Okay, I don't care if it was heavy.
Yeah.
You just picked up a dead bear.
Yeah.
I can't get too mad. I do know a guy, I used to work with him, who was a taxidermist, and he would pick raccoons off my lawn when they got hit.
That's a
Jared, it's a fucking raccoon. It's this big.
But it was a bigger raccoon than that, all right?
It wasn't as big as a bear. It wasn't the size of a bear cub.
A little bit smaller.
Yeah. It's troubling.
But I know people who will skin those things, and like he might have taken some skin to make a hat and then just didn't. I don't know. There's people who pull roadkill up though to make things out of it.
His story didn't make sense because of where this happened, and then going to upstate New York to go to a fucking steakhouse, and then I'm supposed to be on a plane in an hour. I've got to go, and it's like the routes to LaGuardia or JFK don't go past that part in Central Park. So you would have had to go out of your way. Like, none of it really made sense. I don't know what it means. Maybe it's a little weird. I don't know.
You know what makes less sense?
What?
Did you see the Steve McNair documentary on Netflix?
I know the story. No, is it new? I'd love to watch it.
It's an hour of the most confusingly unnecessary thing ever. You want a spoiler alert? You know he's dead, right?
I know he's dead, and I know he fucking cheated on his wife who shot him.
That is maybe the right answer and maybe the wrong answer.
What?
So his wife didn't shoot him.
Shot him in the face while he was sleeping. Isn't that the story?
No, it's his girlfriend.
Or girlfriend, yeah. Okay.
See, look, like someone just said a bear is 800 to 1,000 pounds.
Bear cub is not. A bear cub is not.
I choose to read 800 to 1,000. So
this information, go to jail.
Yeah, so McNair, went to McNeese State or wherever, gets drafted by Tennessee.
Yep.
Jeff Fisher is telling the story. So basically they dismiss this guy's life to how good they did at football in the first season that they were there. They keep cutting back and forth to how good he was on the field. They don't talk about how he's fucking everyone.
Yeah.
In addition to like so many people, how he's got a 19-year-old girlfriend who works at Dave & Buster's.
Yeah.
She's the one who allegedly killed him, shot him in the face, and then killed herself. But 46 minutes into this doc, all of a sudden a private investigator comes on and he's like, I'm a private investigator. This story doesn't make any sense. And then they don't give any backup to what he said. He's like, I wrote a book about how it doesn't make any sense. They interviewed this guy who was a gangster, and this is where she got the gun. And then someone else goes, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And then that's the end of the documentary.
Oh, my God. Well, now I have to watch it.
You have to watch it. It's just so frustrating.
Yeah, that sounds frustrating. It's kind of like it sounds almost like the Kurt Cobain guy who's like, yeah, by the way, her story's bullshit, and Courtney did it. And you're like, okay.
Courtney Cox. It was Courtney Cox who actually shot him.
That would make it even weirder.
And do you know that the bear cub that was in the Steve McNair documentary?
Yeah.
800 pounds.
800. I heard he was 1,000.
1,000 pounds.
But what do I know?
I heard it died in a bike accident.
Oh my God. Now you got to see the second episode.
Of?
Steve McNair 2.
Did you make this up?
Electric Boogaloo?
Is this an actual documentary? Or are you
it's a documentary on Netflix, and everything I said minus the weight of the bear cub.
Okay. All right. I'll check it out. I'll try to watch it tonight. Honestly.
It's really quick. It's like an hour. You're really into it because it's a great story. You don't really remember that much about McNair.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, what an impressive cat. He was really good at what he did.
When people fully understand that they have an objective in these extremely high-level movies, sports teams, they don't give a fuck about the behavior of the individuals involved. Like, they're having to pretend like they do now because they're not as able to easily sweep it under the rug and keep their star in the movie or keep their star on the football field. They have to pretend to care now. They've never cared before, they don't care now. They really don't. It's like this guy throws a spherical ball better than anyone you've ever met. That's all we care about.
That's all we care about.
I lose my gig if I have to get someone lesser than throwing the spherical ball. And so I want to keep my gig. I want to keep my family and my kids in this school system that I'm in, and I want to win. My owner wants me to win. If this guy's dating a 19-year-old and fucking around, I don't give a shit.
Nobody does.
No. And as a fan, I don't care either. These Chiefs fans that wanted Harrison Butker kicked out of the league, it's like, dude, good. Then I hope the Lions sign him because he's a steady rock. His foot hitting the ball goes through the uprights. I don't give a shit what his fucking beliefs on where women should spend their time. Fuck, whatever, dude. You're entitled to your opinion. Does he kick the ball and win games? Good. All I care about.
My favorite joke that I ever wrote, it got zero traction, but I stand by it. And it's when there was a big story going around Los Angeles when LeBron a couple years ago, the year they won, it was at the beginning of the year when they won in the bubble. It was like slow news and they were just trying to throw everybody under the bus. And it was like LeBron James lets his teenage boys drink alcohol. He lets his kids drink wine, and that was a big story because he's a big wine.
I remember that.
Yeah, so I just said, now before we go talking about what kind of a parent LeBron is, let's see how far they go in the playoffs. Yeah. And that's exactly what you were just saying.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
dude,
crazy.
What do you care? Do you care how people in fucking this state over here raise their kids?
No.
That's their fucking business, man. How they do it, none of my business. How LeBron raises his fucking kids are none of my... Does he put ball in fucking metal hole better than most people? He does.
Does he have a great TV show about barbershops? He does.
Good. I've never watched it, but I'm sure it's great.
It's fun.
I don't care about that either, but he's entitled to do that. Good for him.
Does Diddy make good vodka?
Yeah, exactly. The discussion ends there.
Right.
It knocks you out.
It's not bad.
That's good. It's good.
Let's hear from Nicole Shanahan, who this is the description she gave. And take me back on the camera. Put us back on the camera. I will say I watched more of this than just this clip, and I felt bad for this woman. Here's someone who dedicated her life to this. She was probably a never Trumper in her capacity as a political person, hated Donald Trump, and has come to the realization that holy fuck, this apparatus has done to us something that is so unforgivable. And she's in tears, essentially. She's choking up, saying they've left me no option but to fucking side with Trump because of how poisonous this party has become. And with that, we can we'll let her say it in her words.
Start this campaign, I did not put in tens of millions of dollars to be a spoiler candidate. I put in tens of $millions to win, to fix this country, to do the right thing. I will say that Clear Choice, this PAC, this DNC aligned PAC that was created specifically to take us out, has spent millions of dollars to take us out. They have unfortunately turned us into a spoiler. And we don't want to be a spoiler. We wanted to win. We wanted a fair shot. The DNC made that impossible for us. They have banned us, shadow banned us, kept us off stages, manipulated polls, used lawfare against us, sued us in every possible state. They've even planted insiders into our campaign to disrupt it and to create actual legal issues for us. I mean, the extent by which the sabotage they've unleashed upon us, it's mind-blowing. I mean, we're still learning new ways that they have sabotaged us. I really wanted a fair shot at this election, and I believed in the America that a little girl pledged an allegiance to. And that is not where we are today. And it's not because of the Republican Party taking us out. It is exclusively because of the Democratic Party taking us out. And I am so disappointed I ever helped them. I am so disappointed that I helped Chuck Schumer in that Georgia runoff
So are we.
secure a majority. It's probably one of the biggest mistakes of my life.
Yeah. That's terrifying right there. And it doesn't surprise me, unfortunately. You know, we're dealing with sick fucking people that feel like, you know, it's their way or no way. If you disagree with them, you're somehow evil. You're sexist and racist if you don't agree with everything Kamala Harris puts out there. We've been seeing this shit. They've been bitching about this for months and months and months. This is not new. And it's sad that we've gotten to a point where these historic Democrats are coming out going, this is fucking rigged in a way that we can't even get on a ballot. So that you scream democracy every time we turn around, yet, you know, you haven't had a primary in 12 fucking years. 3 in a row. You've just handpicked someone. And I don't want to get into the talking points of that, but that's 3 years in a row. You've subverted the fucking will of the people who wanted Bernie Sanders, who didn't want Hillary Clinton. You shoved Joe Biden in there, dragged his corpse across the finish line, and tried to do it again. And then you did everything you could to keep these people out of the fucking way, like RFK Jr. I don't know how far he would have gotten, but that doesn't scream democracy, no matter what anyone tells you. It's sad. Seeing the emotion on her face is sad to me. I blame, again, I always come back to the same thing, and I know I sound like a broken record. I fucking blame the media. I blame the media for this. The fact of the matter is, if you've got a media landscape that is willing to run cover for whatever behavior your party wants to engage in, you can get away with a lot. And the problem with that is, if left to their own devices, you get scary bad. I don't want extreme right-wing people getting anywhere near fucking power. I just don't. I don't want extreme left-wing people getting anywhere near power. And I'm speaking for myself now, Chris. When I watched Kamala Harris give her speech Thursday night at the DNC, I walked away from there going, she did a good job. She was eloquent. She spoke well. She looked believable. And then I watched the media coverage, and I won't watch right-wing media. I'll watch left-wing media to see what the takeaway is. And they ran 25 minutes of fucking cover for this. And just absolutely praising left and right, this and that. And what that does is it enables them to get someone as radical as Kamala Harris in a position where, with what she said, if she believed what she said on stage Thursday night, I would fucking vote for her. She talked about a strong border. She talked about funding police. She talked about tax breaks for the middle class. She might as well have been at the RNC with the speech she gave Thursday night. Now, if you know enough about Kamala Harris's background from California as a prosecutor, where she comes from and her background, you know that's bullshit on its face, which tells me one thing. You think that message will resonate with the American public, that those are popular opinions, that the middle class is a big group and tax breaks for them sounds reasonable. Everybody wants a secure border. I don't think she believes that stuff. And if you had a legitimate media going, wait a minute, she just said everything the exact opposite of what she said when she ran in 2019. So which is it? And maybe Kamala Harris has had a complete change of opinions in the last 6 months of everything she's ever stood for and believed. Maybe that's the case. And she's grown as a person. She's traveled the country and her eyes are open. But then fucking say that. I understand that I came from a rather radical background and I had some pretty radical left-wing views. In fact, I was deemed to be the most left-wing person, even further left than Bernie Sanders, in a not a poll, but that's what was decided anyways with her. If you address that and went, you know what, I've seen a lot more of this country and I've changed a lot of my views. Here's what I actually stand for. I go, okay, cool. We're all entitled to change our opinions. But when you don't have a media calling people out, like, what did you mean when you said this then? And today you're saying the exact opposite. That's what I have a problem with. That's where you go, no. It seems like you're trying to snow people into voting a certain way right now. And then you'll get back to, it's the clip we played the other day, Garrett, where the guy goes, look, we got to keep it cool and act normal for the next 70 days. Then we can get crazy. That's what it feels like. And it's like, in order to pull that off, you need a complicit media that you know is not going to push back on shit, trying to get their ideology across the finish line. And it's sad. I have a clip from Bill Maher that I'll play. And I don't expect anybody to chime in here. These are my opinions and you know, how I see it as someone who's been talking about this shit for a long time. And it was always bad. I've always felt this way about the media, always. Something broke people's brains in 2015, 2016 to a point where it's the gaslighting is so fucking criminal. I don't even know how to respond to it, but I used to think these people were full of shit. They didn't even believe what they were saying. Now I don't know. I think they maybe do believe. You know, Caitlin Collins was on CNN host with Bill Maher, and even Bill Maher has to call her on her shit. And I think Caitlin maybe believes what she's saying. I don't know. Do you have the video there, Garrett? And Chris, if you want to chime in, feel free at any point.
You made press because you were on Stephen Colbert's show, and he said something like, you guys at CNN just report the news straight. And the crowd burst into laughter. Look, I'm on CNN now. I guess we're on it right now. I mean, they show this show the next night. I don't know how we get away with it with all the fucks, but they do. And all these dirty jokes. But I'm glad, and I'm a big rooter for CNN. But that tells you a lot, doesn't it? I mean, how do you guys think you are doing in that arena of like, this is a terribly divided country. We're not only politicized, a lot of people just hate the other side. And CNN, in my view, should be the place where both sides can watch. How do you think you're doing with that?
How is CNN is the place where both sides can watch. And I think, my show is evidence of that. We have lawmakers on from both parties. We'll have Elizabeth Warren on one night. We'll have Ted Cruz on another night. I think lawmakers from both parties should take questions, and you should push both of them. But on CNN being a place of credibility, I mean, look at what just happened in Chicago. We had 300 people from CNN on the ground covering that convention. There were several reporters from just our team alone on the floor, bringing it in real time to people. And I think CNN puts resources behind things and just brings a level of news that you don't get anywhere else. And I think CNN does a great job.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the people on CNN, and what I know what the conservative side of America thinks, and I don't blame them. I watched Kamala's speech last night. It ended at 8:09, I guess 11:09 in the East. It wasn't until 11:23 till the one conservative guy, what's his name?
Scott Jennings.
This Lonely Scott, I call him.
David Urban was there too.
Wait a second. I watched from 8:09 to 8:23, they was just gushing about how great a speech it was. And I think she did fine. I didn't think it was as good as they were making it out to be. But if I'm a conservative in America and I'm watching CNN, just for the straight middle of the road, that's what I hear for 15 minutes, is it's great, and then Lonely Scott. It does look, I mean, and when you see the path, it does look like tokenism. It's kind of like the same as The View. It's like it's almost better to have nobody there, like MSNBC, than to have this.
Well, I don't think you could say it's better to have nobody there and then also lament the fact that you don't think the conservative guy, Scott Jennings, who is great, and we have him on my show all the time, spoke up early enough. I think it was a Democratic convention. They turned to Democrats, people like David Axelrod, who ran successful presidential Democratic campaigns first, for their analysis of this. And I don't think that you can say that CNN is anything but fair. I mean, look at that. We covered President Biden's exit from the race very closely, the pressure on him to get out. And I feel like I can speak with authority on this. I'm from Alabama. I'm from a very red state. I have a very conservative family, a lot of them who are Trump voters. They watch my show every night, and I think they know that they can trust me, that, we call bullshit on every side, not just whatever leaning our audience may be. And I think that's something that people actually want more of, is to hear from that. I think Scott's voice is really important, but I think other voices are important to hear from. And everyone who was speaking last night, it's not like they were all Democrats. I mean, we had Dana Bash, Jake Tapper, Abby Phillip, all my amazing colleagues.
They come across
giving
that way.
analysis.
They come across that way. In a moment like that, it was like 5-1. It always looks like 5-1. Okay, I'll move on.
Yeah, there you go. That's hilarious. I think I believe that she believes that. If you think Dana Bash and Jake Tapper are playing it down the middle and not absolutely in the pocket of the left, you are out of your fucking mind. Out of your mind if you think that's the case. Why do you think Joe Biden was still there? It wasn't but a month ago. Kamala Harris was telling us he was sharp as a tack. And that team was telling us he's running circles around the younger aides. That was a month ago. They were telling us that. That's gaslighting. It's fine. How does Joe Biden even... Oh, you covered the fact that he left the race? The fact that he was in the race shows you how fucking delusional these networks have become. You were covering so bad for this fucking clown for years, trying to fool the American public into thinking that Joe Biden was calling the shots, running the show. He's just leading. He's Uncle Joe.
Don't you think that makes more sense than causing fear through the people? Like, you're not wrong, dude. You're right. The guy was his lack of capacity was evident in so many different arenas. But wouldn't the common sense approach be what exactly what they did? Like, you don't want to let everybody know that, hey, we're all on this great gigantic bus, by the way, Grandpa's driving and he has no idea what's going on. We're about to go over a cliff.
I think in fairness, because it got so bad the last 3 years. So he's 3.5 years in now. The last 2 years, it became undeniable. I called him a bowl of soup when the election was going on. The fraud took place then. Mm-hmm. They dragged this puppet corpse who never gave an interview, never fucking did a campaign rally, nothing. They knew better. They're doing the same fucking game plan with Kamala right now.
Are you going to watch the debate?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I'll watch the debate.
What do you think she's going to whip him up or like mop him up?
No, I think she'll perform like she did against Tulsi Gabbard, who absolutely kicked the shit out of her.
There'll be a lot of nervous cackling.
Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard fucking destroyed her. She never got a single delegate. She never even made it to Iowa after that debate. She got her teeth kicked in so bad. Bad.
When is this debate?
Supposed to be September 10th. I've actually got I've got it here because they're trying to get a rule change. These always weird me out a little bit. I understand why Kamala Harris's team wants to change some, because these debates initially agreed to by Trump were for Biden, right? Mm-hmm, and so they had the one. You couldn't fool America anymore, and you couldn't gaslight America anymore into thinking, yeah, Joe's sharp as a tack. He's killing it. You couldn't do that anymore. And so this stuff was already set. And so now they've got to reestablish, like, okay, what networks, what are the ground rules? Because Biden's team set all the ground rules. Trump's team set none of them. And so what he agreed to against Joe Biden, he was like, fuck that. We're starting over. Here are the rules. And I think Trump said for that September ABC debate, this is what I agreed to. This is what we're doing. Kamala Harris's team now wants to have open mics through the whole debate. So Biden's team demanded we mute the mics during Trump and Biden's debate because they didn't want Trump to be able to talk over him and all that. We want Joe Biden to be able to give his opinions uninterrupted. Well, that backfired spectacularly. And a lot of people believed, yeah, that's what Trump needed. He needs to shut the fuck up and let this guy talk. Let him ramble. Let Joe Biden speak for himself uninterrupted. And so in the end,
did it not backfire for Republicans? I mean, wasn't that a fantastic win for y'all?
Who?
I mean, like Republicans, like you exposed this guy. Like he was completely like it seems like it would be like a celebratory thing instead of a like.
Oh, it was.
Okay.
No. That was great. So Kamala's team saw that and went, oh, by muting Trump's mic, he appeared more presidential because he wasn't able to go wrong, crazy. This is nuts. What are you talking about? Like he wasn't able to blather unpresidentially. And for a lot of people, it's like, good. Turn his mic off. You don't need him. Let Joe Biden speak. We don't need this guy fucking interrupting him. Well, now Kamala's team goes, oh shit, that didn't go so well. No, we want open mics. We want open mics the whole time. They're banking on the fact that Trump won't be able to help himself, that he's going to be reckless and he's going to talk over Kamala. He's going to be offensive.
Do you think either one of them will have IFBs?
What's that?
Inner ear. Do you think they'll have inner ears? Like someone telling them what to say?
I don't know. Kamala's team wants to now have notes on stage that she can refer to. They want it to be seated or something like that this time. They want an opening statement so she can go rattle her platform. He would be able to as well. And then they want open mics. And so
can you stop saying open mic? Because as I keep thinking of comics, just talking in between.
Live mics.
Yeah, live mics. Open mics through the whole debate for all 90 minutes. So that makes sense, right? I don't mean.
Yeah, no, I know. I was, but like every time, like I'm just trained my ear whenever you say open mic. I'm just like, I know what you guys are thinking.
Yeah. Did you have a Bill Maher story, by the way?
Yeah, that cocksucker.
I've heard some shit. I've heard some shit about him.
I don't know him personally. I'm sure he's delightful.
Do you believe there's any truth to him like living in LA sex shops? You would never say that on, like, I don't care. Good for him. I mean, do you, dog? But I've heard from multiple people, not including J. Chris Newberg, that
first off, I never said that.
No, you did not. I did.
I didn't hear it.
He's notorious for going to sex parties and sex clubs.
Yeah, that's just so foreign to me. That's just so.
I have a friend who works them.
Really?
He's there all the time.
Really?
Yeah. Him and his loose skin and weird conversations are probably pretty crummy for everyone who gets paired up with him.
And I want to be clear. I don't care. Do what you want. Look, he's never been married. He doesn't have kids. And if he wants to go with other consenting adults and get his fuck on in some seedy club in LA, I don't give a shit.
No one does.
Yeah.
But he took one of his writers saw my OnlyFins joke and did it. And I was just really disappointed.
But did he do it on real time?
Did it last Friday.
Really?
This last Friday, yeah.
What was it?
I saw it's like
what was the joke?
My joke is his setup was slightly similar. It was slightly different, and maybe it was low hanging fruit. But I was just like, there's no fucking way one of his writers didn't see me post OnlyFins and be like, snatch. My joke is there's got to be an insufferable shark in the ocean who hates and is so jealous of all the sharks on OnlyFans because they've never been on the show, and they're probably like, this is fucking bullshit. They're on TV, they're getting all this fame, and I'm working my ass off, and I have an OnlyFins. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
And, oh, wait, you're going to show us?
And finally, new rule, the Republican ticket of Trump and Vance can say what it wants.
But it comes right up. It says, oh, no, it was before that.
And finally, new rule.
Oh, we got it just before. Hold on.
Is it before that?
Oh, there's my OnlyFins.
Was that it? Was it coming up, or did he already say it?
Yeah, it said OnlyFins on the screen.
Yep.
Dude, this is weird because I know there's, see if you can find it, Garrett. I know there's thoughts in comedy where it's like, okay, did a lot of people think this? And because nothing drives people more nuts in the real world when it's like, oh, that was so obvious. Why didn't I think of that? We all do that.
Sure. I'm sure it's parallel thinking.
Too. Like, for instance, there's been a couple jokes that I've made over the years on the show that have ended up in movies or on SNL, and you're like, did they really fucking come up with that too? Because there's a lot of times when I'm trying to be fucking outrageous on the show and come up with stuff. There was the story that it's in a movie right now, and for all I know, I've never heard it. But we had a story years ago we did about an old lady who got robbed by her own grandson. They were drug addicts, and he grabbed a handful of dirt and threw it in her face, and then they tied her up, threw her in the back of her own car, stole her car, blah blah blah. And I interviewed her, and I kept referring to the dirt face. When your grandson dirt faced you. Blah, blah, blah. And it was so absurd. And I got her to say, yeah, the dirt face was, of course, real scary. But I've never heard anyone refer to something like that as a dirt face. Mm-hmm. Well, it popped up in a new John Cena movie or something, is it?
Nice.
What movie is it? And it's like, is that something that, maybe there's some writer from Michigan on that fucking movie and he comes up in a writing room, and because there's been too many times when that's happened. And it's like, well, was that just the obvious thing? Maybe, I'm not going to go sue him.
It's like one of those things where it's like, look, do I literally think that one of Bill Writers took my OnlyFins joke? Maybe, maybe not, but it's gone now. The fact of the matter that he's used it, it's gone.
Yeah.
I had to scrub the whole episode, but here you go.
Totalitarianism, and part of us thinks, ooh, this would really make the commute sweep. Australian woman currently on trial for making a porn video where she was having sex with a trout. Has to apologize to every guy on Match.com whose profile picture is him doing this. But honey, don't give up on online dating. There's plenty of fish in the sea.
I mean, it's gone now.
So
a totally different setup, but just OnlyFins is gone. It's not like I'm going to be able to do it again.
You can still do it.
You can still do it.
Hold on. Just add an N and make it OnlyFins, like Finnish people.
I've
and
got
have it set in a bathhouse.
I've got a T-shirt of OnlyFins already on my T-shirt store.
I think you could still do it. OnlyFins is better than what he just did.
Oh, his version was not as good as mine. No way.
No. I think, dude, I think you're wrong. I think that first off, I'm not sold that someone heard you and stole that premise. Possible. OnlyFins, I think, still works better, and I think you could still do it.
Well, okay. Again, there's parallel thinking all over. I'm not like goddamn Bill Maher, but I can still go fucking Bill Maher. My joke's gone.
Yeah.
That's
I don't think it is, though. I don't think it is.
Well, I mean,
and how many people are going to see that anyways?
I was going to say,
I think you're all right.
$2 super chat from John Skimpy Halloween Hand. JCN comedy is unique from anyone else in a good way.
Yeah, damn it.
There you go.
He paid money to say that. That means it's true.
That's gotta be.
He also asked if the another $2 if that was the same MSU bit from blah 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 when we were talking about the couch burning.
Probably. Yeah.
I mean, I think that was cool when they burned couches.
What's that?
Burning couches is so uniquely Michigan. Like, it's just such a.
I think they do that other place. I think they did that at Duke and at Kentucky.
No, Duke, they just nailed prostitutes.
Yeah, okay.
The lacrosse team just took down a prostitute.
Total bullshit story, but okay.
Yeah, I know, but so what? It's not like you can tell me that the couch sleeping is fake too.
Yeah.
Everything I say on this show is completely true.
Yeah, it is.
100%.
Including the things you don't say, like where Bill Maher hangs out.
Yeah. Then look, when we were listening to Brendan Shanahan's wife cry earlier, I was definitely like, her husband won a couple of Stanley Cups. We need to listen to this lady.
Oh my God.
What? That's where
all jokes don't need to be said.
Some of them need to be felt.
Yeah. I think that chick, going back to his point, say what you want about Bill Maher. He is in the tank for one side. He is. He admits it. It's what his show is. I have no problem with that. But, if you don't have, you've always had MSNBC and Fox News, for instance. Like they like Fox News is gonna be more to the right. Doesn't mean they won't call out people on their team, but for the most part, you know what you were getting. And then you had MSNBC on the other side. It was kind of this unique balance we had. And then you had CNN, which was supposed to be, kind of down the middle. And while you saw signs of it, for years, it was like, I don't know that they're straight down the middle. But for the most part, they pulled that off. And then I believe for the most part, ABC, NBC, there's been something that's happened since 2015, 16, where you should not be able to have a presidential debate and then a panel right afterwards and blow those people for those speeches for 20 minutes. You shouldn't be able to. And I would say the same thing on the left, like on CNN anyways. On MSNBC, I get what they're going to do. They're going to do save that for there. And if people that just want to be in the tank for one side and that's all they want to hear, great. That exists for them. And you could say the same with Fox News. Okay, but you got to have some outlets. And my only hope is, because I can go really dark with this stuff about how bad this really is, how corrupt it really is, and how dangerous this really is. But I do land also on these people are fucking desperately dying, and media like this, where you have open conversations, are thriving. Not necessarily this one, but there are outlets out there that you can get. But you got to get out of the mindset of like, oh, if I'm going to get my news, I need to go to ABC News or CBS or CNN or MSNBC. Like, once you get out of that thinking, it requires a little bit of work, but you will find way more intelligent broadcasting and critical thinking out there. And the fact is, they're banking on people not doing much in the way of fact checking and looking into like, well, just because my team said it doesn't mean it's true. They're banking on people going, hey, they preached joy. That sounds great. We love that. She talked about border security. Like, that's good enough for me. And if that's as far as you go into it, we're in a really dangerous spot. Maybe we get what we fucking deserve if we keep voting for this stuff. Hope and change worked for Barack Obama coming off 8 years of George Bush and foreign wars and a tanked economy. Hope and change worked. Hope and change? You're going to try to run hope and change with Kamala Harris? Hey, fuckstick. Your party's been in charge 12 of the last 16 years. 12 of 16 years you've been in charge. So if people want change, if they want hope or joy, like, don't give me fluffy words. What are your policies? And then have these people fact check them. That's fine. They do it to Trump all the fucking time. Every time that guy gives an interview, they fact check the balls off of him. There was nobody on CNN. And if they did, it was on page 4 of their fucking website. That's the problem. That's the problem. And it pushes people to extremes. That's the danger, is if you let these people go unchecked, they will push further to the extreme of what their ideological bent is. I don't want it on the right. I don't want it on the left. Media serves a very critical role in this country. We have 6 fucking media conglomerates in this country that are driving the narrative that you see nationwide. 37 years ago, there were 50. Today, and they control 90% of the United States media. 90% in the tank for oligarchs, essentially. AT&T, CBS, Comcast, Disney, News Corp, and Viacom. That's it. They own everything. That's where you're getting your mainstream news.
I miss when Viacom used to own Blockbuster Video.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Did they? Weren't they
man.
MTV? Isn't Viacom MTV? Wasn't that a thing for a long time?
I just remember there was a video store that was on.
Blockbuster was owned by Viacom. I thought Blockbuster owned Blockbuster.
No, Blockbuster owns one store in Alaska.
Now they do.
Yeah.
But they were owned by Viacom.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's why we got such slanted fucking movies.
Yeah. I don't know what that means.
They were pushing a narrative.
Oh, yeah.
Through the media bent.
It wasn't 15 candles. It was 16. 16.
I knew it.
Yep.
It's been going on our whole lives, Chris Newberg.
Absolutely.
It's been going on. It's a small detail. But Brittany Mahomes
Spears?
came out. No, not Spears. Brittany Mahomes. And this is just to the larger problem of this. This is the problem that I have. I don't care. Brittany Mahomes, wife of Patrick Mahomes, okay, liked a post by Trump. So Trump posted something about, he said the platform, here's my platform for the 2024 GOP platform. To make America great again. I hate these slogans, by the way. No, tax cuts, no tax on tips, secure the border, stop illegal immigration. And he posted to a promise to end inflation and keep men out of women's sports. Like that's not radical in nature. Those are popular things. They want you to believe that abortion's the most popular thing in the world. It's not. But those are not radical in their position. She liked the post. She's getting fucking hammered now for that. And I don't have a problem. I don't want to make people in Hollywood, like I feel like in a healthy democracy, Britney, Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, anyone in Hollywood should feel absolutely as comfortable and safe taking the stage at the RNC as Ben Stiller does taking the stage at the DNC. There is no fear from Ben Stiller to go on stage, spout off whatever he wants, and I don't have a problem with it. But you know damn well, Chris, just like I do, there are a tremendous amount of people in Hollywood that wouldn't fucking dare, no matter how they believe. They've been shut the fuck up in that respect. And that, to me, is not the sign of a healthy democracy. I expect that the DNC is going to have a rift and a gaggle of celebrities. And in a healthy democracy, the RNC should have their talking points and shit and their list of celebrities. But no, you get Scott Baio. Why? Because smart people that are big in Hollywood know better. They know it's a death sentence to their career.
What are you talking about? We got Hulk Hogan recently.
Right. And yesterday was announced that they canceled his movie.
Hulk Hogan's movie?
Yeah.
Well, he's got a new beer. That's going well for him.
They've been working on a documentary film about Hulk Hogan since 2019, and it was announced Friday that it was canceled.
Because of his liking of Trump?
I don't know. I'd hate to believe that. I'd like to believe that, it's just financing or it's creative difference. Like, sure.
It's just not as interesting as we thought.
Yeah. You've been working on it for 5 years and now the plug's pulled. It makes it, unfortunately, you don't have to be a, crazy conspiracy theorist to go, yeah, it doesn't shock me.
Yeah,
he went on stage at the.
Here's the thing. Maybe it sucks. And if it sucks, you say someone told me I couldn't do it. That creates public interest where it wasn't there before. Now everybody wants to watch this stupid movie again. So you don't have any idea whether or not it was actually canceled. You don't know if they pulled the plug on it, or you don't know if
it was announced. It was announced they pulled the plug on it.
Okay, so Kid Rock announced that he doesn't like Bud Light. He drinks Bud Light. It's just a thing. You probably wanted more free cases,
Well, it sucks that I like to believe in a country that it's like, if the plug got pulled on a documentary, it wouldn't be because I didn't line up with what the elites think and I voiced that. I hate to think of living in a country that that's the case. In reality, maybe it was funding related. Maybe it was all kinds of things. What I don't know is the fact that we even have to ask that question now about whether or not this was pulled, because MyPillow did just fine. Mike Lindell sold millions and millions. He made himself a half a billionaire by selling stuff that people liked. It was in every fucking store in the country. And then he had a problem with the election. By the way, so did I. So did I, for the record. They fucking yanked that guy. They want that guy gone from polite conversation. He's the butt of the joke now. And if you know Mike Lindell, he's one of the most generous, funny, fun people I've ever known. Interviewed him multiple times. I've met him, hung out with him. Couldn't be more generous. Couldn't be more caring. I absolutely believe he loves his country.
He looks like a fool not having any fact, though.
He can look like a fool. God bless America. You can look like a fool.
I'm not mad.
He can go fund his own documentary. There you go. Use promo code TDC. Use promo code funny. TDC. Crazy people exist. And if you know the context of Mike Lindell, I've said it before. Mike Lindell was a fucking psychopath, drug addict, alcoholic who ran a bar. Like when you meet him and you meet his employees, they've all been working for him for 30 years. Tells me he's a good fucking boss. That none of those guys quit. He didn't give a shit what your background was. He involved me and Jay in fucking meetings he was having with DC elites. Like he couldn't have bet. He was like, "What do you think about this?" And he cared about what average dickheads would think on something. Like it was like he was sharing the wealth with lots of people. And it's like I'm not just willing to write friends off for disagreements politically. I hate that. I hate that.
Me neither.
Maybe Hulk Hogan's movie was pulled for absolutely legitimate reasons. I don't know. I've seen too many people get their fucking careers trampled because they don't follow the popular mainstream what CNN tells you to believe, and that sucks.
You're gonna see that Hulk Hogan movie.
Maybe.
I promise.
Dude, how do you fuck up a Hulk Hogan movie? Honestly,
put Hulk Hogan in it.
That's the best part.
I think it was a documentary.
You ever seen Thunder in Paradise?
Like those are all home runs. You do a documentary on Hulk Hogan, it's going to be a home run. Like his story's too fascinating.
Yeah.
I agree. And you could be right. This could just be generating popularity for it.
100% what it is.
And talk. Yeah. That wouldn't surprise me. I'm just telling you I didn't even look that far into it. And I saw the push like, oh yeah, he speaks at the RNC and now they cancel his thing. And it's like, yeah, it's not that far of a leap to make. Whether that's true or not, I have no idea. The official story, I think, is something about differences creatively or something, or, I don't know. It seems like a long time to be making a documentary too. It could be financially. I mean, 5 years, is that a long time? It seems like.
No, documentaries are way longer sometimes. They're documentaries. Really?
Yeah.
I guarantee he was like, it's not the right time. I need to have something. Maybe I need to have my kid get drunk and hit something again. And then everyone will talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know what goes on.
That's true. All right. Why don't we wrap it up there, guys? Let's see. Email. Hey, Mike, why do I blame who do I blame for the shows getting posted so late into the day? I see you were live in the afternoon/evening and get excited to listen the next day, but the show isn't on Spotify until midday. Is this the fault of the nerds? Is it because Garrett's mom is so hot? I must know to whom I need to place blame. Hi, Woke Bay.
Hello.
I don't know who's, but I think they're posted like usually night of, and then it should be in Spotify right away.
It's been
What's
popping up sort of halfway through the next day for us. Might be a time change or something. I'm not 100%, but
yeah, I don't know. Did you have any thoughts? Does yours, Chris, when you post Newberg?
It's up right away.
Like right away, right?
Right away.
I blame Aaron. I'm going to blame Aaron.
Should.
Yeah, I'm going to blame the nerds. Dude, here's the fact. When I hit stop here, it's done. It's been on Facebook. It's been on YouTube live. So at that point, I text Aaron a list of topics, and then he takes it from there. And so if he's jacking off late at night, whatever, and he can't get to it right away, maybe. I know there was one day he dropped the ball. He fucked up. He did. He was a total asshole, and he fucked up, and it didn't get posted till the next day. But that was his fault. He takes blame for that. But other than that, I think he posts them quite quickly. But I don't know.
I got 19 new followers on my YouTube page last week.
Did you?
For the Newberg show. I was like, what? I thought it was a mistake.
Why would you think that's a mistake?
Because we don't ever get followers. It's awesome.
Isn't that funny, dude?
Yeah.
It's a different world now.
Yeah.
It just is trying to get your a lot of network. It's I don't know. I'm trying to get the ball rolling right now before looking into some of that stuff because it's just changed so radically from what it used to be pre-COVID. COVID changed everything. When everybody was at home and all they could do was sit there and have a microphone, and now every fucking asshole has a show, quote unquote. Like it's made it what was swampy before is now infested. Just like try to get your shit out there. It's just, I don't know. Anyways,
I'm dying of thirst. I know you're just reading emails. So
I'll kill it there. Don't worry about it. I'm good. We've gone over anyways. And go get yourself a beer, whatever it is you do to quench that thirst.
Get some water, yo.
Yeah, water's great. I'm going to go have one myself. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. Certainly appreciate it. Thank you too. Do it again tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. See you guys.